Hey, what is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. Today we are out on the range fixing a rifle that we have been having issues with. So many of you who know what's going on with this rifle, as you guys can see, we fixed the problem. That will be in another video, because this video is here to educate you guys and to show you what happens when certain people trespass on your land. And then we are going to give you the law to educate you on your rights, at least here in the state of Idaho. And then I would encourage you guys to look at your state's laws regarding this same issue, because it is a problem anytime a governing body or an agency that works with the government to create infrastructure, like surveyors, like engineers, they like to be able to act as though they can trespass on your land. So we have talked about this stuff in the past, guys. We've talked about it with the tax assessors, at least here in the state of Idaho. The tax assessors here in the state of Idaho, they tell everyone that they are in fact allowed to come onto your land. We have shown the law and proven that they actually cannot come past no trespassing signs and locked gates. They can be held criminally responsible because they are in fact committing the crime of trespass here in the state of Idaho. Now, Idaho has very strict trespassing laws, and nobody has the right to trespass on your land. Your land is your land, and you have a right to that land. You have a right to that property. So that is the issue in today's video, and I'm going to tell you guys right now, fair warning, very strong language. So if you got kids in the room and you don't want them to hear my potty mouth, guys, please turn off the video or watch it away from them. But this is your warning, strong language. So I'm going to play the video for you really quick and just show you what happened. The trespasser on our land who decided to be on our land, his attitude towards it, his seemingly reason for justifying it, and then we're going to come back and tell you guys the law that actually prevents this guy from being able to do what he did, and then really stress the point that you see me talking to a land surveyor at the time, but in fact, the reality of the situation, guys, is I am currently talking to a criminal. This man is committing the crime of trespass on my land against me. I have the law to prove it, and I'll show you guys. Here's the video.
What's up, man?
How you doing?
What are you doing?
Surveying.
Well, you're in the middle of private property right now.
Which property is yours?
The one you're standing on right now.
This one or that one?
That one over there is the one you've probably been hired to survey, not this one.
Been hired by to survey his property.
Okay, you're not even close to the property.
Oh, I know. I've got to tie sectional monumentation to establish his property corner.
So why are you walking through mine?
I just walked up this property line to see if there was the center of section, which would be right there, and that's where
You're saying that's the center of this property?
Center of this section, mile by a mile by a mile by a mile.
Mm-hmm.
That's how everybody's property lines are established.
Yep. So now where are you headed?
Back to my truck.
And how much of my property you plan on walking on?
I don't think I've walked on any of your property.
You're currently standing on my property.
If I go that way 10 feet, will I not be?
Listen, I don't give a fuck that you're 10 feet over the line. I'm just wondering how long you're going to be on my property.
Until I get
That's
to my
it,
truck and
okay?
I drive a half
My
mile
dogs
that way.
come out here. I see a truck out here. I want to know who's on my property and what you're doing. Is that an issue?
No.
Okay, I don't have a
One bit.
fucking problem with it.
Okay.
Don't be a smart ass about 10 fucking feet.
I'm not being a
Okay?
smart ass.
Great. Go finish your fucking job and get out of here. That way I know who's on my property and now that you're fucking leaving.
Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Great. Go ahead. You got anyone else out here with you?
No. just
Fantastic. Have a good day.
Me. You too, sir.
So Title 54, guys, Chapter 12 in the state of Idaho, that is where you are going to find the rights of surveyors to be able to come onto your land. Now, they are allowed to access your land for the purposes of surveying, putting down marks. They are allowed to come onto your land. However, they have to notify you before they do. And the issue with this is, if somebody is on my land and I don't know they're there, I consider them a threat. 100% I consider them a threat. Now, that is due to the fact that we receive threats from people quite often just because of what we do here on YouTube. And I don't know if a person on the land currently is the person who has threatened my life or threatened the life of my family or my children. And I'm not going to be nice about it, sitting around waiting to find out. Trespassers will always get dealt with the exact same way, and that means always being armed and ready when confronting trespassers. Now, the act of trespassing is a crime. You're dealing with criminals in that moment, and that is the mindset you guys need to have when dealing with these people. Sometimes a trespass might be an innocent, hey, I didn't know I was on your land. That's one thing. To come onto someone's land knowing that you are required to give them notice, but you choose not to, is you choosing to be a criminal. Now, we wouldn't accept it from a meth head coming onto our property. We wouldn't accept it from a thief coming onto our property. We do not have to accept it from government agents because they're all doing the same thing. They're committing the crime of trespass. So guys, like my other trespassing videos, the main point of this video is to show you guys that you have rights and that you have to exercise those rights, because if you don't exercise those rights, they become privileges. And as you can see, some agencies think that it's more of a privilege than a right, and that they in fact have some sort of entitlement to cross into your land without taking the right steps to do so. So I want you guys to know that if you are to ask if you're asking the tax assessor, at least here locally, if they're allowed to come onto your land, they will tell you that they are allowed to come onto your land. That is not legally correct. There are laws keeping them off just the same as everybody else, but they don't want you to know that. So for all of you who might think that a tax or a surveyor can just come onto your land, now you know at least to look it up in your area. But if you are in fact an Idaho resident, I just gave you what you need to be able to hold them responsible criminally for the acts that they just committed against you. This whole scenario, guys, this was all stemming. This was actually the day of the entire Moscow issue, where the police were violating the civil rights of some protesters, some Christians who were singing, being peaceful, and they were arrested for it. It was a day where I was already pissed off, had stuff going on, and then my dogs started freaking out. And my kids come inside and said, hey, someone just stopped their truck up at the top of the property. They got out and just walked up into our property. This is an issue. Our property should be secure, and we are secure in our property, or at least we should be, guys. And that is kind of why I handled it the way that I did. And as soon as the guy made the comment about only 10 feet, like, oh, it's no big deal, I'm only 10 feet on your land. And he wasn't. He was further than that. He was just being a smartass. It pissed me off pretty quick. I generally try to handle people a little bit more cordial and just let them know, hey, you know, get off my property and call it a day. And really all I wanted to know was how long he plans on walking around my property and where he plans on going on my property. And it wasn't even the fact that he didn't give me the notice. It was just wanting to know who's on my property and what they're doing. I am completely entitled to that. That is my right, 100%. Now, the reason this guy was walking on my property is he had to get to the back of my property where he needed to find a pin or find a marker. But the reason he walked on my property is because my property was much more accessible. It's more cleared out and maintained versus my neighbor's property. He saw it was thicker over there and he chose to not walk on it. Now, the other properties around us are not inhabited by someone, so whether or not they would legally be able to walk on it because it is uninhabited land, that is the big issue here, is because of his laziness of not wanting to walk through thicker land, he chose to violate and commit crime by walking on my land that's more thinned out. He actually walked right past the no trespassing sign because it was easier access for him to be able to walk. So 30 feet, 10 feet, in that 10 feet, he decided he was going to commit a crime versus not be lazy. So is it a big deal? That's for you guys to decide. Comment below. Is it a big deal? Do you think what I did was wrong? Do you think what I did was right? I can tell you that I would 100% do it again every single time. Unfortunately, due to the threats we receive, safety is at the top priority, and as far as a trespasser, you become a distant second as to whether or not your safety is considered. My family, my property, me, our livestock, all of that safety is put first above anybody else who decides to come onto our land. That is where I put you. That is where you are when you come onto my land. Whether or not you know that before you come onto my land, that is your problem, unfortunately. If we're expected to abide by the laws, I think everyone else should be expected to abide by the laws as well. So engineers, county assessors, county employees, it doesn't matter to me. I don't hold you in higher regard, and I don't put you on a pedestal. You are required to follow the laws, just like you're trying to enforce upon us, and I will hold you to it. Thanks for watching, guys. That is the video. I'm going to get back to playing with my gun here because it's working now, which is fantastic. So we'll be getting another video out on that, showing you guys how we fixed it, what we did, and actually be able to get after this optic that's on here and review it like we've been wanting to do for weeks now. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit the thumbs up if you're new, and I really hope you guys learned something. These videos are not for me to put out to show you me yelling at some guy or me using foul language with some dude and kicking him off my land. They are here to educate you guys so that you guys can understand your rights as landowners.